The Green Bay Packers stood at the edge of one of the most critical and potentially damaging decisions in recent franchise memory. A move that, if completed, could have shifted the team's entire developmental strategy and future outlook in ways that might have taken years to repair. Reports have surfaced that the Packers were dangerously close to trading tight end Luke Musgrave for nothing more than a late day 3 draft pick, a decision that would have been disastrous for a franchise that has prided itself for decades on cultivating talent from within rather than seeking quick fixes in desperation. Before Tucker Kraft's devastating season-ending ACL injury, the Packers front office reportedly entertained calls from both the Denver Broncos and the Jacksonville Jaguars exploring offers that would have shipped out Musgrave for what sources describe as roughly a 5th-round selection. In the cold logic of roster management, a day 3 pick might not seem insignificant, but for a player of Musgrave's pedigree and potential, such a move would have represented a gross undervaluation and an astonishing lack of vision for the future of the Green Bay offense. Musgrave was a 2nd-round investment, a player whose athletic profile stood out from the moment he stepped onto the field. Tall, fast, and physically imposing, he represented the modern archetype of the dual-threat tight end capable of stretching the field and blocking with authority. Trading him for a low-round pick would have been equivalent to giving away a cornerstone piece before he ever had the chance to reach his prime in a league where tight ends are increasingly pivotal to both offensive rhythm and red zone efficiency. Such a trade would have sent shockwaves not only through the Packers fan base, but throughout the NFL community as well. The fact that this deal nearly happened reveals a level of internal doubt that contrasts sharply with the steady developmental approach Green Bay has been known for since the days of Ron Wolf and Ted Thompson. Context is everything. When Kraft went down with a torn ACL, he was on a remarkable trajectory, establishing himself as one of the most productive tight ends in the conference. With 32 catches for 189 yards and 6 touchdowns in only 8 games, he had become a reliable and dynamic option for Jordan Love's evolving offense. He was more than a safety valve. He was a difference maker. His ability to create mismatches over the middle and exploit coverage gaps had transformed the Packers' passing attack into one of the most balanced in the NFC. Losing him was a gut punch, and it instantly exposed the fragility of the depth chart. The situation worsened when the Minnesota Vikings claimed tight end Ben Sims off waivers, a move that left the Packers dangerously thin at a position that demands physical endurance and versatility. At that point, the narrative around Musgrave shifted dramatically. What was once a quiet rumor about his possible trade value turned into a revelation about how close the Packers came to undermining their own offensive infrastructure. If the trade had gone through, Green Bay would have faced a catastrophic shortage of tight ends, with no immediate options to replace their lost production and no realistic path to maintain offensive continuity. The near miss served as a wake-up call, a moment of clarity that emphasized the fine line between bold management and reckless decision-making. Now, with Kraft sidelined and Sims gone, Musgrave stands at the center of Green Bay's offensive recalibration. The former 2nd-round pick, who was once viewed as a developmental project, now becomes the focal point of the passing game. The numbers from his rookie campaign, 30 for receptions, 352 yards, and 1 touchdown, may not tell the full story of his potential, but those who have watched him closely know that Musgrave possesses the raw athleticism and football intelligence to emerge as a premier tight end in this league. His route running continues to sharpen. His timing with Jordan Love is improving, and his physical presence over the middle of the field gives the Packers an element they cannot replicate anywhere else. For the Packers organization, this episode is more than just a tale of a trade that never happened. It is a reflection of their identity as a franchise built on patience, development, and internal trust. Green Bay has always been about building rather than buying, nurturing rather than panicking. The almost trade for Musgrave would have been an act of impatience, a break from the disciplined philosophy that has defined the team for decades. It would have signaled a dangerous shift toward reactionary management at the expense of long-term growth. Instead, the front office now has a second chance to recommit to what has made the Packers competitive across generations: strategic continuity as the team prepares to face the Philadelphia Eagles in a high-stakes Monday night showdown. Carrying a record of 5-1, the near trade looms as a cautionary tale. Every decision at the professional level carries weight. Every roster move, every negotiation, every internal debate has ripple effects that extend beyond the field. Had Musgrave been dealt away, the Packers might be scrambling to reinvent their offense today. Instead, they have a chance to rediscover who they are as a team built on stability and vision, not panic. As short-term thinking, this moment also serves as a reminder to fans, analysts, and executives across the league about the unpredictable nature of football. Success in the NFL is not just about talent or schemes, but about timing, resilience, and the ability to recognize when to act and when to hold firm. Sometimes the best move a franchise can make is the one it decides not to make. It all for Green Bay. This restraint may prove to be one of the most important decisions of the season. Now, as Musgrave prepares to step into the spotlight, the stage is set for redemption, for opportunity, and for proof that faith in development still matters in a league obsessed with instant gratification. The Packers nearly walked into disaster, but they pulled back at the final moment, preserving not just their roster depth, but the integrity of their organizational philosophy. The upcoming weeks will reveal whether that restraint turns into reward, whether Musgrave can seize the moment and become the player he was always meant to be, and whether the Packers can transform a near mistake into a defining moment of resilience and renewal. For now, all eyes turn to Monday night, when Green Bay faces the formidable Philadelphia Eagles in a matchup that could either reinforce their identity or expose their remaining weaknesses. Whatever happens, one truth remains clear: sometimes survival in this league depends less on the moves you make and more on the ones you have the wisdom not to make.